And we are live. Number 21, podcast number 21. I'm sitting down with Miss Williams, somebody I know as Miss Williams. And I'll start it off just by recapping how we met. So she actually subbed for my class a while back. I don't know if you remember that. You probably remember that.
I remember it very well.
There you go. And I came down, I think during one of the breaks, just to check in on how things were going. We had a nice conversation, and you end up, you were an assistant to the math teacher prior to you, yeah? Is that right?
Yes.
So you were an assistant to the math teacher, and then eventually now you are the math teacher.
I believe I see.
And we've had a variety of conversations since then. Very interesting conversations. Very interesting person, just based on our interaction so far.
Thank you.
A lot to say, a lot of ideas. And that's kind of why I asked for the podcast. I was like, oh, this is a person with probably a lot of experience and insight into life. So thank you for being here. Can I start off with what made you want to do this?
The podcast?
Mm-hmm.
So, first you asked me.
Yep.
And so that was initially, that was it. But just the direction you wanted it to go in, and the fact that you wanted it to be something that addresses the issues of today, how people made it through yesterday, and how they go forward to tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was my main reasoning. I'm not sure how good I'm going to be at it, but
Right.
I'm willing.
That's okay. No, I appreciate that. Some people are not willing. Some people are a little bit shy, and that's okay. But I respect you for being willing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Let's start here. So you're from Bermuda.
Right.
You were born and raised there?
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
How many years did you spend there?
From the time I was born, as far as I remember, that's a whole nother story.
Yep.
But as long as I can remember, I've lived in Bermuda, and off and on in the last, I would say, 20 years, I came back and forth to the United States, but I stayed on the island, so, yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like all my life.
Pretty much, yep. Okay. And I actually didn't know where Bermuda was before today because I looked it up earlier just to see where it was, and it's actually like pretty off on its own.
Yeah,
Like
it's an
there's-
island off the coast of Florida in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
Everybody associates it with the triangle
Of
only
course.
because of
The
the
name.
geographic location. We're the only piece of land in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. Like
and
it's literally
nothing else there.
nothing else around it.
Yeah. We're blessed.
Yeah. Tell me, what is Bermuda like? What is your relationship to that place?
It's very much an island of secrets. Yeah. 22 square miles by 22, beautiful pink sands, crystal blue waters. You never meet a stranger. But behind closed doors, there's a lot of secrets.
Really?
Yeah. And so, if I were to say Bermuda is the island that unless you've been there, you won't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you probably have to spend a decent amount of time there to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're trained very early to adequacy, very early, very early.
Yeah.
Trained how to hold our forks properly and how to speak properly and how you would walk down the street, how would you greet someone, how you present yourself in a classroom, how you present yourself at a doctor's office. Adequacy is very important because the only resource we have is people. We totally rely on tourism to survive.
Right. Right.
And so far, it's worked.
Right. That's interesting. And where are you learning this from? Like, is this in the household? Is it in school? Is it both?
Both.
The community, probably, right?
Yeah, it's just that how the environment is totally set up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, so I'm 50 plus, and I think the only two fast food places I've ever known, like franchise-wise, is Kentucky Fried Chicken, which just came in the last maybe 5 to 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and McDonald's during the time when the U.S. military base was there, and it actually was on the base, so we used to have to sneak to go get it.
Really?
Like, yeah,
They wouldn't
like,
let you go?
not just freely. No.
Got it. Yeah.
And so, like, everything is like a mom and pop restaurant,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's literally wine and dine compared to anywhere else in the world. Like, you literally sit down and you eat.
Right.
You have conversation. You communicate.
Yep.
You know, you're not only analytical about what you're eating, but you're also analytical, or would I say, I'm very observant of the environment you're in. You know,
Yep.
if you want to be by the water, or do you want to be inside? Do you want to hear jazz, or do you want to hear soca or reggae? Like, you know, everything is a decision making of the whole thing. You can't just say, I just want to get a fish sandwich.
Right.
Okay, fish sandwich how? You want
Yeah,
it on
you want
Raisin Bran?
music?
Yeah, do I want
Yes.
music?
Yes.
Am I looking for a lot of company, or I need a beer? you
Yeah,
know, I
I'm
want
trying
some
to
loudness.
chill.
I want somebody that understands I've had a rough day, you know? Or do I want to just go by the beach? And because anywhere you go, you're never alone.
Mm.
That's one thing about Bermuda. Like, even if you want it to be, right?
Right.
It's really hard to be in Bermuda and be alone.
Is it because it's small?
No, not actually. Like, you can find spaces of being alone.
Yep.
But to say that you're lonely, like I said, you never meet a stranger.
Right.
You never, ever meet a stranger.
Yep. No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry.
Right? You never meet a stranger, because everybody is somebody. And they're important from the moment you encounter them to Bermudians.
Right.
Like, you could be on the airplane slobbing on your pillow and look up, and the Bermudians next to you, you're bound to have a conversation, even if you don't want to.
Really?
And you could be the most crankiest person in the whole world.
Yeah.
They're not starstruck. Like, we just don't have all those issues. We're not starstruck. Like,
Right. Doesn't matter.
Angela Jolie could be next to us, Beyonce. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Hey, you're just people. Like,
Right.
blood runs through your veins.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Tall, short, black, white, green, don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
We're just people, and we're trying to survive. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so would you say, it sounds like the answer is yes, but I'll ask anyways. Do you have a relationship, or are you familiar with most people around you? Like, you've probably talked to them, or they're connected to your family in some way, or you know them as a family friend. Are you familiar with the people around you?
Not as I've gotten older. I've always been very to myself.
Yep.
A lot of people wouldn't tell you that, though. They would say that.
I wouldn't say that either, based on
know.
what I've seen.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say that I'm very much an extrovert, and that's not true. Secretly, I'm not. I'm very introvert. The extrovert part is my defense mechanism. Let me hurry up and get it over with.
Right.
Right?
So it's kind of like a mask, almost.
It's definitely a mask. It's definitely a mask, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, it's like, okay, let me go ahead and get whatever I think they want from me. Let me go ahead and give them, because when I'm done, I'm done.
Yep.
Like, I'm already checked out.
Don't talk to me. Don't ask me nothing.
I'm already gone.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's over. I'm
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
And so, as I was coming up, people made a lot of speculations about me. You know, I recall so many people thought, like, I was telling one of my siblings the other day, I was like, you know, so many people said, oh, she was very promiscuous. If they knew who my mother was, that ain't the title you would put next to me.
Right.
Just how strict she was. Right? Like, I was terrified of my mom. Not in a, like, she's going to kill me kind of way, but the respect was definitely more fear than respect, right? So, you know how somebody says, a parent would say, I'm going to put the fear of God in you?
Right.
Like,
she actually did that.
Yeah, she did it. It was definitely ironclad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, no.
Yep.
Like, very small, narrow window of being able to be very sociable.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, but it's possible. It's possible. On the other hand, it's possible. And so there's a lot of people that would say that I'm very, to answer your question, that I'm very much out there and I know them all.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even remember their names, half of them,
Right.
faces.
Yep.
And it also has to do with like trauma, trauma, not blockage, just my coping mechanism of saying, yeah, if it ain't important, I don't need to hold it because I've already held too much in life already.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's
No, it does.
It gets.
It actually gives me a little bit of a tangent. I should just quickly say, like I mentioned yesterday, if something comes up in the conversation, we might pursue that a little bit more. And it's interesting to me, your comment about being more introverted, but you present extroverted. And to paraphrase a little bit, you mentioned you're kind of giving people what they want, and or you're just trying to, I guess,
deal in the moment.
Yeah, do the situation. Just do what you got to do in the moment, and then get out of there, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you, because that actually resonates with me, I also lean more towards introvert, like if possible. I'm okay with being on my own. I'm okay with like sitting in the corner of a party while other people are chatting. Like I'll just sit there and watch and eat my food. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm chilling like that.
It's okay.
It's okay.
People watchers. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
they
exactly.
call us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my question to you is like, how do you feel about that? Do you think putting on the mask is a bad thing, or do we need to look at it as a bad thing, or is it just like something you just do to, I don't know, get through the situation, let's say?
I'm not really sure how I can answer that other than for myself.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so for me, it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Because people have their own perception of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they realize it's a mess, it's a little too late. For me.
Yeah.
Because the expectation is already there. And I'm going, look, I'm a little burnt out on doing show and tell for you.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, no, for sure.
Like, I'm like, not again. Oh, my God.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And there, I'm like, did I not just give you enough?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, no. But then, and I hate to use those two words together, but then, so I'll say, on the other hand, there was a period where I was very recluse to the point that it was not healthy. Like, I literally had the concept in my head that as long as I was on an island by myself, me and the dog, I was safe. Right? Which is not true.
Right.
Because if you get sick and you can't handle it, who's going to take care of you? Because it's not the dog.
Yep.
Just going to say.
Yep.
For all those pet lovers out there, sorry, doggy can't answer the phone.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Let you well train them.
Or pick you up if you fell down.
Or pick you up when you fall down, right?
Yep.
And so, what made me try this avenue of living, and I truly believe that I'm not doing it in the most healthiest way, but I can't think of no other way where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
My doctor was like, it was basically a threat. It was like either learn how to socialize with other human beings and not be so fearful, or we're going to have to put you in a hospital and try to help you get to that point. And I was like, no, I'm quite able.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And so I just started people watching from a whole different angle. Like, so how's this person? This person's very loud. This person's very quiet.
Yep.
Okay, so this person needs me to be more
Yep.
And then this person, I could be just like, hey, how you doing? How was your day? And I can go on about my business because they don't have a need.
Yep.
And yeah, that's where it goes. And so literally I'm very analytical about the most simplest things. And as simple as the way they carry their pencil or the way they walk.
Body language
is my favorite. Right? Because people really take that for granted.
For sure.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot, right?
Right. And then that even comes in a mask, right? Because sometimes they have on attire that, and when I say attire, not their garment, but just the skin they're walking in for that day, It might be all tensed up, and yet
You would never know.
They're acting like they're floating on cloud nine.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Right.
always some part of our body that tells on us, though.
For sure. You can't hide it all.
I hate that.
Unless you're like a CIA spy.
And even they don't do it well.
Probably not.
Hence the reason so many go into environment early. Go ahead.
Just to linger on this a little bit, one more question on it. I think I honestly was probably going to ask this a little bit later, but might as well ask it now. How would you describe authenticity? What does that word mean to you? And maybe like a second question is like, is that important to you to be authentic, to present yourself authentically? So first, what does it mean to you? And then the second part is...
Okay, so authentically means to me being able to, and I know what the dictionary term means, right? So I'm going to say what I know it to be, right?
Yep.
So authentic for me and many people in this world is being able to put forward the best persons or personality or character that they're able to live with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I say that to say this. You imagine if you meet a young lady, and people always say you don't ever know someone until you've been with them for thousands of years, right? In actuality,
or live with them.
Or lived with them. And in actuality, you don't know anybody further than what they've told you.
100%, yep.
And even if they've showed you, they're only conforming to the environment that they're in. If they go in a different environment, you'll see a different side of them.
Right, yep.
So what is truly authentic about that?
Right. If you are kind of switching based on the environment that you're in.
Right. It's not that it's not authentic in that moment. It's authentic in that season.
Mm-hmm.
So authenticity for me is being able to be true to thyself in the season you're in, the moment, the very moment.
Yep.
If your truth is... A good example was earlier this week, you and I were talking and a couple of our colleagues, and I said something that I felt that I was not correct on, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But in the moment of me speaking it,
right,
I was being my true self.
Right.
It was the reaction that made me now shift it because of the fact that now I'm not truly aware of what I'm saying, and not because I'm speaking out of ignorance, but just that I obviously was not truly aware that the situation has shifted to a different direction now in life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It doesn't make my statement not authentic.
Right.
It's just today it's a whole different thing.
Yep.
The season changed.
Yep. You learn something new.
Every day. So authenticity for me is being thy true self and being willing to be accountable for it. That kind of true self. Like not true self like, oh yeah, this is my truth.
Yeah.
Because not always our truth is our truth, right?
Exactly.
It's the truth of whatever you're saying, however you're acting, you're willing to be accountable for it.
Right. All of it.
All of it.
The goods and the bads.
The good, bad, ugly, and in between.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes to me and says, you're antisociable, you never invited me to your house, but how you call me friend? Well, yeah, I'm not your friend.
Yep.
But I thought we were friends. Yeah, you thought it.
Yep.
I never really said that.
Yep.
That's my truth. I never said it. I might have treated you with the utmost kindness that I would want to be treated in.
Right.
That don't make you my friend. Just means I know how to respect a human being. That's it.
Exactly.
I mean, we kick it.
Yeah. We're not best buddies yet. Not yet.
No.
Long way to get there.
I tell people all the time, my biggest best friend is my teeth and my pocketbook. It's broke, I feel it. If they come out, I replace it. Like, it's as close as I get to it right now.
That's hilarious. Your teeth and your pocketbook.
It's kind of true.
Miss Williams got a lot of interesting sayings like this.
That's that British humor.
Hey,
Forgive
I love
it.
it though. I love it though. I love it though. Okay, maybe one more question, and this one is a little bit personal, so you can feel free to decline if it's too personal. After a long day of social interaction and presenting based on the situation, when you finally get to go home, be in your own space, what does it feel like to chill, to finally not have to present, not have to do anything that you feel like you have to for the situation? What is it like to just chill and be on your own and be relaxing?
I don't know yet. I've never been on my own.
Really? Like when you go home, well, I guess you've got grandkids. There you go. So they're around you, running around.
The neighbor. It's always someone, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever really been alone? I mean, you might have been in a room by yourself, but you're still not alone. The phone rings.
Sure.
There's somebody there. Just via phone. But I'll say this to answer your question.
Yeah.
When I do find myself in a situation where actually no one is around, now I have to deal with me.
Yeah.
And that's the most difficult obstacle in life. Is to deal with oneself,
Yep.
I often have conflicting conversations with self.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I compromise my principles just to be able to survive through the day.
Yes.
I hate that.
Yeah. You're probably not probably, I'm guessing, self-critical.
Of course.
Beating yourself up over, I probably should have did this, or why did you do that?
Mostly, it's often, I should have just been my true self.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in my position, I love children.
Yep.
I don't really care much about adults.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I hear you on that part.
I mean, not that I don't love them.
Right.
Right?
But that's not the primary reason.
I just don't like them.
Ooh. Got it.
It's a difference, right?
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
All good. Don't worry about it. So,
and I don't dislike them. They're just not,
Yep.
not my favorite candy bar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I
Some
ain't
people
like
like
them all my
chocolate.
life.
Some
Yeah.
people like vanilla.
Right.
Some people don't like sour candy.
There you
It's
go.
not my thing.
Right. And so kids have always been my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was once a kid, and it took me a long time for my inner child to grow up. So
Yep.
I've always had to. So as an adult, I've always been very mindful of the fact that kids are kids, right?
Yep.
Even if they're big kids.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so sometimes when they're asking me for my true self because of where I am, not because of the situation, like I'm on the job,
Mm-hmm.
I still have to put on a mask. And
Yeah.
I'm angry because in that moment, that kid really needed my true self. Even if the kid is 35, even if the kid is 42,
Mm-hmm.
the inner child that was asking me the question needed my truth in that moment. But because of my location, I felt not. And then usually I get home and I'm like,
Yep. Beating yourself
I
up.
really dropped the ball on that one, right?
I see.
So that's one thing that happens. And then another thing that happens is I always, I don't care where, what, I could be sitting on the back porch. I'm going to take a power nap.
Mm.
Because I'm very much, like I said, I'm very much observant. I pay attention to everything and I listen to everything.
Yep.
I don't say much.
Yep.
Other than when I'm asked, but I do listen to everything. Good, bad, ugly, and in between, bad comments about me, everything.
Yep.
And so by the time I get home, I'm filtering. And I want to make sure that I ain't miss something that could make me better.
Right.
I never filter. I used to when I was younger, but I never filter at this age on the level of could they be right? It's can I identify it in myself?
Mm-hmm.
And am I willing to be truthful?
Yep. The accountability.
The accountability. It's important.
Yep.
Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, a little bit. moving on to the next one. So we talked about Bermuda a little bit. Obviously, you could probably say a lot more about that place.
Oh, God.
Right? Of course. But tell me about... So did you move to the United States or did you go to any other place before getting here?
So I've stayed in Canada.
Okay.
Brampton, Ontario for a very long time. I'll tell you about... I've traveled all over the world. But,
there you go.
I'll tell you about places that I actually felt like I made an impact. How about that?
Sure.
All right. So I was in Brampton, Ontario. I wasn't even maybe about 14 years old, 15, and I got to work with the mentally and physically challenged from people from St. Lucia. Loved it until I
Is that another island? Sounds like another island.
Yes. St. Lucia is another island.
Okay.
And the Haitian community also. They're kind of tight-knit, just that one is on one island and the other is on another. And so then as I got older, I spent time in Africa. Loved that.
Which parts? Which countries?
Pakistan, Kenya, Niger. Yeah. I got to teach and be taught. I think that was the period in my life where I really learned that everything is really not necessary. It's just wanted. Everything's not really necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine before everything that we strive and break our necks for every day, just materialistically.
Yeah. What about food and water, though?
People didn't, even that. You know how many people live without food and water? The two?
Yeah.
They either have water or they have food. But they live. Because you know what? With a little bit of anything, mineral, soil, in water, boil.
Yep. You can make it work.
You can make it work. You're going to get sick, so you might have to boil another kind of mineral with it or put a crystal rock in it to get the salt, to get the... But, yes,
there's a way.
It's a possibility because it happened before we even got to where we're at now. So why wouldn't it be able to happen again? Whatever happened yesterday is definitely able to happen tomorrow.
Yep.
It's nothing new under the sun.
Not at all.
It's just the way we process it.
Where did you make that realization that there are no needs, it's just wants? How did you realize that? Do you remember?
Yeah. I had my first child. I did not know struggle. Had no clue about struggle. And her father and I had our first fight. And I remember the Americans, I don't know if they were African American, European, I don't know, they were people. They were like, oh, you need to go to this place and that place. And I was like, wow, I don't know anything about any of this. Because I'm a Muslim woman with a brand new baby. And I love my daughter, but I don't know this country.
Yeah.
And I went to this hotel.
Which country at this time?
California.
Oh, okay.
I was in Los Angeles.
Got it.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this child and me. And I opened up a can of green beans and she got food poisoned. Because I didn't know that once you open the can, the oxidation of it all causes the lead to seep into the food. And so it will make you sick. This is why they always say transfer it into another container. And I didn't know that. So it had been in the can the whole night, not in a fridge, sitting in the sink, nicely preserved for me.
Yeah. Next
day, she was willing to eat the beans. And she got sick to the point I really felt like I was about to lose my child. All the materialistic things that I had with me, and I had a lot of gold, bangles, solid gold, not cheap stuff, 18, 24 karat, all around my neck, all my ears.
Yeah.
None of that could save my baby.
Right.
What it took was someone that was completely home to say, hey, you know what? If you go down here and get this thing right here, and talk to this person right here. She'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered at that moment, you can have everything in the world.
Right.
That's all you got. It's a lot of stuff.
Right. You can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you, one. I mean, even though people definitely try, which makes no sense. But you can't take it with you. And there's only so much you can enjoy.
Right.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got a closet full of clothes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And someone brings you another closet full of clothes. And you're excited because it's fresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then why do you go out and buy another suit when you're ready to go out? Or another tie, or another shirt?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not have enough in the closet?
Right.
Well, the main reason is because we always have so much that how do you make a choice about all the plethora of stuff you have there?
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so much easier just to go pick a choice somewhere away from the chaos.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how organized you are.
Right.
You can have 50 black shirts, 50 black pants, 5 white jackets, 50 white jackets, and 50 black ties. Guess what? You're bound to find a reason why it's not
going to work.
It's not going to work in that moment.
Yep.
Because it's about choice, right? And so for me, I say that to say this, not chasing no rabbit, but for me, when I realized that I had all the nice shoes and the nice clothes and,
Yep.
spoiled as a child, in the only way I knew at the time. But yet, it was never enough.
Right.
Because it was just sitting there. It was just there, right? And that's how we do life, too. Like, right now, people, well, maybe I don't want to work here tomorrow. There's too many choices.
Yep.
But what are you actually good at?
Right.
What were you put here for?
Right.
Not many
What are you
people.
passionate about?
Your passion and what were you put here for? Even if your passion, my passion is to be an airline stewardess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, let me just tell you, that's my passion. That's my fantasy life in my head, right?
Yep.
I'm going to be an airline stewardess, the finest one, right? The kind that have the calves that make you just go when they're walking up the hallway, even if you're not there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I want to be a pilot now. I see the women are pilots now. What?
Yeah.
I remember there was a time women couldn't be pilots on a plane.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, like in my fantasy life, that's where I would like to be. And that's my passion. I love to watch it on TV and everything. It moves me. Is it my gift? Is that my assignment here on earth? I mean, really, what were you sent here for?
Mm-hmm. You think
whatever channel you truly want to say
Yep.
that you came on, right? Because we all have our own synopsis on how we got here and what avenue, right? But what's your purpose?
Yeah.
So for you, why do you feel like you came here to this place? There's so many galaxies and everything in the world. Why you came to this one?
This place, this earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Okay. Next one. What's your purpose?
What is my purpose? I've actually kind of thought about this a little bit recently. Just because I've been asking myself, like, why am I doing what I'm doing, right? Similar to you, I like working with kids. I felt that way for quite a while. I've always, I don't know, like I embrace the big brother role. And I think that's what I take away from...
Every day?
Kind of, yeah. Okay. Or at least like my purpose. For right now, I think the answer to that question is to be like a compassionate, tender, but also like tough love type of big brother. And I think that's what I'm trying to do through teaching. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm actually the oldest brother of 3 younger siblings. So I try to do that with them. I'm still learning. I'm still learning with the teaching stuff too, of course. And then I'm also a basketball coach. So I work with a lot of young people there too. And then just in general, I think the role that I've it just seems like the universe has put me in this place. That's what I feel like. That's my interpretation, is to be a compassionate, kind friend, brother, and like a person that people can lean on.
Are you comfortable with that in your skin?
I am, actually.
So that's your truth too?
I think so, yeah.
You have to know.
Well,
you said I think
I'm
so.
not 100% sure, but I believe that's the answer. I believe it. I believe it. The only thing that I guess gives me a little bit of hesitancy is that it's hard, though.
That doesn't make it not for you.
Well, exactly. Right? If anything, that might be like even more the reason.
It's a challenge for you to stay alive.
Exactly. It's like this is the universe presenting something, like you're gifted for it, but it's not going to be easy. So maybe that's like...
Anything that is really for us is ever easy?
Of course not.
Right.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So I would say that's kind of my response, is to be like a big brother, a compassionate big brother, and help guide people, at least for the time being.
Yeah, people say that that my place, my journey, the reason I'm here is because I have leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
This is about you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much a leader. Mind you, I like to be in the background.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, which most leaders are. If they're true leaders and they're not just narcissistic, right?
Yes.
They're true leaders.
Right.
Not just attention seekers.
Yep.
They're usually in the background.
Right.
So,
I want to be as far removed as possible.
Right, because I've already trained.
Yep.
Right? I've already nurtured, moved forward. So I've only started to embrace that truth because I ended up actually trying to read up on it and everything, and I was like, oh God, I really resemble so much of that. That's crazy.
Yep.
As far as the endeavor that I'm on, I never intended to be a teacher. Never.
Not once.
No. Flight attendant.
Right.
Airline stewardess.
Yep. That was the dream.
That was it. That's as far as I got in life, right? Because
Yep.
I thought they were beautiful, and I come from an island. I got to travel and all that. I would say the universe definitely plopped me in it every chance, every other job I've ever had, from correction officer to working in a hotel. I tried everything at least once. Slinging toilets, only because this is America, the land of the free.
Right.
This is Australia. This is, you got to try it.
Yeah.
What makes these people tick?
Right.
If they're using digging wells and making water come forth, I mean, imagine the passion that had to come behind that. That is something I want to try. Go to an Indian reservation. I don't go because I want the flowers.
Hi. Conversation.
Can I get a book?
Yeah. All good. Let me just pause it. And we are back. We just had a student come in real quick to grab some things, but Miss Williams was... I'll let you
So
take
I was
it.
elaborating on how, I worked numerous jobs,
That's
but
right,
I utilized those times as to just navigate the different things of the community, what made it tick, the culture, as simple as, why would a child be so content with being in a river full of sewage, but that's home and that's all they know, and the only reason that it isn't home anymore because someone else came and said it.
Yep.
It doesn't make it wrong. It just makes them dealing with what they're dealing with in their country, in their space.
Yep.
It only becomes wrong when society says it, but society isn't living it.
Right.
And it's usually outsiders in the society that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So my passion was never to teach kids, but I always wanted to take care of them. being coming from a very dysfunctional situation in life, for lack of a better word. Once I realized that it was and how I survived it and became triumphant out of it, I wanted to help others. And apparently the universe says this is the way. Because I've tried every other way, seriously.
Yep.
Counselor, end up teaching. Correction officer, end up teaching. Advocate, end up teaching.
Yep.
I've done it all.
Yep.
I hate it. I'm definitely a jack of all trades.
Yep.
I've mastered a couple, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
It's crazy.
That is interesting. Do you feel... Do you enjoy it?
Teaching?
Yeah.
Love it. But it took me a minute to embrace it.
Right.
Embrace the idea that this was for me, even though I didn't choose it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like, you just kept getting pushed in this direction.
It wasn't even like a push. It was like, it was like, oh, I want a Mercedes-Benz, right? Just say hypothetically. I want a Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, but you can afford the Lexus, the Kia, the Kia fit better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it felt more comfortable, right?
Yep.
Because I was used to the Kia.
Mm-hmm.
The Mercedes, I only liked it because everybody else said that was the better car.
Yep. Because of the name.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the name, this title that went that went with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Mercedes, it drove right.
You mean the Kia?
No, the Kia, it felt comfortable,
I see.
right?
Uh-huh.
So I said the Kia, the Mercedes, and the Lexus. So it's the Lexus. The Lexus, it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it comfortable, easy for me to navigate, I get things accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like I have to worry about it so much. That's how it was for me. Like, everything else I was able to do.
Yep.
But teaching, I walk away every day, even on my worst days, feeling like, yeah, I got one.
Yeah. You reach
Even
somebody.
if tomorrow that ain't the one.
Yep, yep.
But
For that one day.
For today.
Yeah, something
I got a
stuck.
lot. Yeah, something stuck.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Even if the stuck is, I didn't get to teach my subject, but I got to teach a little life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, and this is going off the subject for a minute, but
It's okay.
sometimes, more than ever, if you teach life, then the subject already is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so the kid gets it. So, yeah. I walk away and going, I saw the light bulb go off.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that is fulfilling?
Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if the light bulb was, little Bo,
Yep.
I don't want you to talk in my class no more.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, little Bo goes, ma'am, I'm sorry. I promise this time I wasn't playing no more. I didn't mean to do it. It's just a habit. I'm working on it.
Yep.
The acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm. They heard you.
The accountability. They're willing to change their mindset, even if they don't know how yet. But the journey started.
Yep.
That's one.
Yep. And it may not bear fruit right away.
It's definitely anything that is worth you doing, don't look for the results in front of you.
Right.
I tell anybody.
Yep.
If you really want to make an impact on society, don't look for instant gratification.
Yeah.
Because instant gratification is only an instant result. And
Right.
guess what? At the end of the day, it really is not sustaining.
Mm-mm.
Anything that's worth sustaining, you don't get to see it right away.
Yep. You got to stay patient.
Stay patient. And you got to be, you're looking down the road and you're going, for the love of God, when is it going to happen, right?
Yes.
Or whoever you want to call on, Allah, Jehovah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For lack of offending anybody that's online. So, the thing is that you're just like, when?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, when you least expect it, because you're not expecting it, you've already give up on the idea of it even happening, right?
Right.
99.9% of the time we give up, right?
Yeah.
Because our stamina level is just really low, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we give up on the idea, and at that very moment, something happens. And you're like, I'm here already?
Mm-hmm.
What? I remember when I wanted to be here.
Yep.
And that journey seemed so long.
Right.
But I'm here already.
Yep. Caught you by surprise.
Right. And then we want to act as if there's something wrong with it.
Yep.
Mind you, been wanting it all this time.
Right. You're kind of shocked.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Don't know how to handle it.
And then we sabotage it a little.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time we sabotage it a little,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it can't be true. Maybe it's just a figment of our imagination, right?
Right. What's going on here?
Right. And then when you realize it's not your imagination, but it's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little Tommy's graduating. He's no longer little no more. You've actually watched him grow. And right before your eyes, he matured. Right? Or the little girl that always stayed in the corner, all of a sudden she's having major conversations with her friends and she's cool as X.
Yep.
You missed it.
Yep.
You blinked somewhere along the line. But where you wanted her to be when you first met her, you heard her name, his name, they're there.
Yep.
And you were a part of that journey.
Small part.
The thing is that you was.
Right.
But there was a time when you didn't think.
Right. When you had a headache, when they were getting on your last nerve, when you just wanted to
Whoo! Ha!
curse the whole room out. Right?
Right?
I know the feeling.
Oh my God.
I know the
Not
feeling.
only curse the whole room out, but my go-to is always I just go to the wall. I'm like, can I just hear a beat?
Right.
Like, let me just beat out a beat in the head.
Yeah.
Let me have some sort of soulless beat, right?
Yeah.
So it, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or you come back and they know all the rules, but yet the subs notes is 20 pages about how they acted the blessing.
Yep.
Ooh. They got this new thing, school mom, school dad, right? It's not new, but they feel new about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, you do not want me to be your school mom. Because I'm going to need to take you out in the back.
Right.
Don't give me that title. Let me be auntie.
Right.
Cousin, anybody.
Yep.
I got one student, he calls me cousin.
Mm-hmm.
He calls me, what does he call me? DeMarcus cousin. DeMarcus cousin. I'll be like, your safe zone. I mean, you know who I'm talking about. So you imagine if that student said, Mom.
Right.
I'm going to have to take you out in the woods. Let me take you in the corner for a second.
Right? We'll have to talk about this.
We're going to have a discussion. So, yeah. Man, life is amazing. It rocks.
Better than better, right?
It can only get better if you want to continue to live. Right?
Say more about that.
Yeah, like if you want to continue to live, it can only get better, even if the better is on your scale only.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
My better might look bitter to you. Right?
Yep.
And your bitter might look better to me. But
Yep.
I'm not equipped for your bitter or your better. And
Right.
neither are you for mine.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Like if we just realize how the young folks say what lane we're supposed to be on in this universe, we wouldn't derail, right? Hit some potholes, of course. That's part of life.
Yep.
Run into some stop signs, heck yeah.
Yep.
Some traffic jams, definitely.
Yep.
Right? Some road work, always.
Some detours.
Definitely some detours. I'm still detouring. I
Yeah,
can't wait for the day I look up and I'm not detouring.
Yeah. Can I just get into my spot?
It's the parking. The thing is our parking bays are all assigned to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We actually all have one parking bay. That's our personal parking bay, right? Our name's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How often do you get to park in your bay?
Oh, is that a real question?
Yeah. How often do you get to park in your personal parking bay?
Well, right now, all the time.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Nobody usually parks there. Recently, at least.
So, you're where you want to be in life.
No, of course not.
There's no detours got you shifting right now.
No, there's a whole bunch.
Then you're not in your parking bay.
Oh, you were asking conceptually. I thought you were asking. So I actually do have a parking spot for the listeners, and I thought that's what you meant. But yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
Still moving.
Yeah,
Finding my way.
Usually somebody done pulled up in and got comfortable.
Right. Yep.
even
or you
if
got
you
dragged
know it.
over here.
Right. Or all of a sudden they decide to do construction on that site, so now your parking bay has to go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
You know? It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be ready for it. Be adaptable, flexible. That's kind of how I respond to all of that.
How do you be adaptable?
Well, I guess you've got to realize one of the things, we're also, one more minute.
Go.
One of the things, I had like a high school vice principal, she said one of the only things in life is like change is inevitable. So that kind of made me realize like, you have your stuff now, you have your life circumstances, but just be ready, right? Be ready.
Yeah.
You might move to a different place, new people might come in, people might leave. The circumstances around you will constantly be changing, so just be ready for that. And I think knowing that conceptually and then actually like experiencing it many times in life, where like the potholes, the detours, they just come, man.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think my thing, I try to learn from all these experiences, right? That's what they tell you. Like, experience is one of the greatest teachers of life, so learn from it. The takeaway for me is to try to be adaptable. It's like, okay, this is the new situation. This is what it looks like. How do I fit into this? My parking spot is no longer there. Well, where am I going to go now?
Right.
I still got to go do stuff. I still got to go to work or go do this, go do that.
Gotta leave the car.
Yeah. Where are we going to put the car for now? Is there street parking? Can I borrow somebody's spot? So that's kind of what I think about when I think being adaptable and flexible.
Yeah, I truly appreciate you letting me come in and conversate with you, especially since the topic was very interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah, and the bottom line of it all for me, you didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I'm ready to wrap it up. See,
right.
that's me and my mask, right?
Fantastic.
So, for me is that one, despite the mask, your truth has got to come forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two, regardless of the adjustment, you have a parking bay.
Yep.
When you actually get to park in it, we all do not know. Right? Because if the bottom line is that we definitely, if you live, you definitely have to die.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose that's the only bay.
Mm. Eventually.
Yep. Not in the very immediate, but eventually.
Yep.
Suppose that's the parking bay.
Right.
That's assigned to you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We have others.
Mm-hmm.
But the assigned.
Right.
So we get to do
guaranteed.
all that we do. Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah.
I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
Guaranteed bay. I'm going to have to use that.
Guaranteed.
It is guaranteed.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be there.
Like it or not.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Some things we just can't avoid if you're living.
Mm-hmm. So maybe the takeaway... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
That's it.
I was going to say maybe the takeaway from that is take your time.
Definitely.
Enjoy the journey.
Not only the journey, but every moment. The thing is that, again, we as a society, as people in the world, not everybody, but majority, we're so instant grit and so instant, that we're actually missing.
Yeah.
Missing dinners with our friends and family, missing quiet times with our own thoughts.
Yep.
Because we're so instant. Everything's instant.
Fast food.
Fast
videos.
Fast relationships, fast videos, fast cars, fast songs,
yep.
fast everything.
Go here,
is
go there. Yep.
That when the brakes go down, for whatever reason, the detour isn't there no longer, and you're just stuck in the traffic jam for a moment. Everything seems so overwhelming, but it was overwhelming when you decided to do the instant.
Yep.
The instant.
You can actually find peace here.
Right, that's the peace moment.
Yeah.
Because you get to deal with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up, Miss Williams. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
We only, just for the listeners, we only got through like 2 questions, and just for you too, just a heads up. So if you're open to it, we'll revisit this at another time. But Miss Williams, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. And
I enjoyed dialoguing with you too.
Hey, and if you're listening, if you made it this far, thank you for your time, and hope to see you in the next one.